We're officially into the heart of the European soccer season, and what a start it's been. From stunning upsets in the Premier League to dominant performances in La Liga and Serie A, Europe's top clubs are already making statements. And of course, the Champions League is back, delivering drama, goals, and plenty of storylines as teams battle for early position in the group stage. But before we get too far ahead, we've got international break coming up with players switching from club colors to national pride. Some teams will welcome the rest, others just want to keep the momentum going. Welcome back to Penn State Sports Night. I'm Alec Brown, joined alongside Robert Leonard and Emily Carter. And guys, let's get right into it. Which clubs in the Champions League have impressed you the most so far? Robert, we'll start with you.
Well, I feel like the Champions League is synonymous with one team, and that one team is Los Blancos, Real Madrid. It's impressive how they've been able to pull through. I mean, Kylian Mbappe is having an incredible season. I'd go as far as saying, he's on track to beat Ronaldo's 17 goals in a single Champions League season record. He's scored 5 goals in his first 2 matches, and I mean, he's not on track to stop anytime soon. Mm-hmm. I feel like with Vinny Jr., this Real Madrid could look like the Real Madrid of old, but if we're being honest, there is no Real Madrid of old. Real Madrid is synonymous with the Champions League. They are the Champions League, as much as it hurts to say as a Barcelona fan.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Madrid is just one of those undeniable powers. They are consistent year after year, and they're proving to be just that once again. And they, again, just a powerhouse, somebody that always is going to have eyes on them, and that's not changing this season. With that being said, one team that I have my eye on right now is going to be Marseille. They had a dominant win over Ajax recently. It was a 4-0 shutout. And with that being said, they are just a powerful team. They're dominant on the pitch. And Aubameyang, for them, he's looking like his former self, and I've been really impressed with that and his performance. He had 1 goal over Ajax, but overall he's just been all over the place offensively. He's just such a powerful player, and they have a lot of talent. They were impressive in Europa League last season, but overall they're a team that is going to, I think, get a lot of attention this season. I think they have the ability to do really well. With that being said, they did lose their first matchup to Madrid. However, they had a 43% possession rate, and they just put up some impressive stats overall. And so I think that even though they lost that game to Madrid, again, they're just a powerhouse. Madrid is one of those teams that even a close matchup and a hard-fought battle against them is going to mean a lot. And I think that showed a lot of their power and their grit in that game. And so I think they're one that we shouldn't count out. Additionally, I think Galatasaray is one of those teams also that they're one of those smaller clubs. They're dominant, however, they kind of tend to fly under the radar. And I think they're one that are going to be really powerful this season, and I'm excited to see what they do. And again, another team, you can't really top Champions League without talking PSG right now. PSG is another one of those powerhouses, similar to Real Madrid, and just how they can produce year after year. They were dominant last season, and they're looking consistent. Once again, they had a powerful win over 2-0 win. Who was it that had that win over? I'm blanking on it. But anyways, they have been a powerful team through and through, and I'm just impressed with them overall. And again, they're just one of those powerhouses, but I'm excited to see this season. There's a lot of really powerful teams in this tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. And to add to what you said, Galatasaray, I think they really have the potential to be a dark horse for this tournament. We're looking at a team that, not a lot of strong teams come out of the Turkish Super League. But they really seem to have a handle on this season. They're completely undefeated in league play. And like you mentioned, they were able to face one of the bigger teams in the competition and not perform too badly. Mm-hmm. A 1-0 win against Liverpool is pretty good on your resume,
absolutely.
Especially if you're not really coming in with too many expectations.
Yeah.
They won that game with a third of the possession. Liverpool had 2/3 of the possession.
Right.
Liverpool's sitting second place in the Premier League. That shouldn't fly under the radar. Mm-mm. I think Galatasaray has really has the potential to make something incredible come from Istanbul. I'm hoping for it. I would love to see a Cinderella story from them this season. But that being said, there's some people that haven't quite, some teams that haven't quite been exceeding expectations as much as Galatasaray, and one of those teams I do believe is Barcelona. Unfortunately,
yes.
Barcelona. They won a game, they lost a game, but when you take into consideration their last La Liga game against Sevilla when they lost 4-1, their 2 injuries, Iñaki Martinez and Pau Garcia, I think it's safe to say that they're going through a tough moment. But if there is a team that I do believe can bounce back from that, it is Barcelona. They've got Lamine Yamal. They've got Robert Lewandowski, who isn't too hot right now, but I think they can bounce back from it.
Well, a lot of great points, guys. Marseille, with your take, they did super great last year in their Europa. They lost 3-0 to Atalanta at the very end, though, so it's quite unfortunate to see that from them. And then obviously Galatasaray, they have so much talent for a team in Turkey, which is just kind of unheard of. It's one of the big reasons that they end up beating Liverpool, just because they just had so many people just come out of nowhere really for them and just step up so well. And then going back to your point of just Madrid, they're always going to be that team. Xabi Alonso as your manager is just ridiculous. Right. We saw what he was able to do with Leverkusen, and now he has this much talent on his team. It's almost impossible for him to do bad. Even though they did have their struggles last year, you do have to think that not everyone playing on the left side of the field and trying to attack towards the middle, with Mbappe really being a true 9, being able to play on both sides of the ball now, will be super impactful for them. And obviously you have Rodrigo, Vinny Jr., just a plethora of players. So I think that's going to be huge for them. But guys, a lot of great points. And so let's move over to the international break. Some players just turn up that second notch when they're repping their home pride flag. So what are some interesting matchups you guys are looking forward to during the international break? Emily, we'll start with you.
For me, I am really looking forward to that South Korea-Brazil matchup. South Korea is just a team, they put up some really good results recently, and they're just shaping up to be a dangerous team, a force to be reckoned with. I think that for them, that a win over Brazil would be really big for them in establishing them as that dangerous power going into the World Cup. So I'm really excited for that matchup. And for South Korea, their leadership with Hong-min Son, Hong-min Son, he is just one of those players that's passionate, and he has always been powerful on the pitch. And I think his leadership is going to be really crucial here. And Brazil, again, they're another one of those teams that they have that history, that identity. So I'm really excited to see that matchup, to see what happens. I think it could be really big for South Korea if they come out on top.
Yeah, and you got to say Brazil, no matter how tough the moment they're going through now, Ancelotti seems to be adapting, to the last couple of matches of the CONMEBOL South American qualifiers. Lost that game in La Paz, which I gave Bolivia a chance at the qualification for the World Cup, is giving them actively a chance. They are going through a tough moment, but it's Brazil. And I'd like to use that to segue into the United States, which unfortunately we don't have quite a name that sits as heavy as Brazil. It's been a tough last couple of matches for the USMNT. We also picked up an international coach in Mauricio Pochettino, and I think he's been struggling a little bit to find his footing as the U.S. national team head coach, but I do think he has potential. However, I do think we need to take into consideration the last 7 games against top 25 opponents. We didn't win a single one of them.
Right.
We're not doing too well, especially 8 months away from the World Cup. This is the time to shine. This is the time for, as they call it, the boys in blue, the U.S. to step up, especially as a host nation. And that being said, I think it's going to be crucial that we get at least 4 points, at least 1 win and 1 tie from the upcoming games against Ecuador and the following game against Australia. Ecuador finished second in the South American qualifiers, and I don't think that's a small feat when you consider the team that finished number 1 was World Cup champion Argentina. So I think it's going to do a lot for the U.S. national team players to get a win there. We have a lot of raw talent. I think it really is just deciding which way we're going to steer that natural talent.
Well, yeah, I think the U.S. men's national team, they're always just kind of seem to be 2 years away from being 2 years away.
Yeah.
You kind of wait for someone to step up and be that next guy. You thought it could have been like Dest in that back line helping us a little bit. Tyler Adams stepping up as the captain. Pulisic during that World Cup run, but it just never seems to be enough. And looking at South Korea, what a better guy to have as your leader than Heung-min Son.
Right.
Helped Europa so much, getting them there last year. So if anyone can beat Brazil in an upset, it's definitely them.
Absolutely.
But once again, guys, it's a lot of great points, and I'm personally super excited to see what these countries are capable of starting Thursday, October 8th. But that'll do it for European Soccer Talk. Once again, I'm Alec Brown, joined alongside Robert Leonard and Emily Carter, saying goodnight.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning into this edition of Penn State Sports Night.
For more content like this, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, give us a like, and follow our socials down below.
And as always, we are
Penn State Sports Night.